Tomorrow at 7:45, a new series of The World About Us starts with a visit to Arizona, where they're taming the wild with considerable success.
In a courageous scheme, devised by a far-seeing group of pioneer social workers in Arizona, wild Mustangs and even wilder kids are getting to know each other the hard way, with startling benefits for them both. An organisation called Vision Quest has been acclaimed worldwide for its high success rate in rehabilitating tough young criminals. Their wagon train treks, as an alternative to jail, have shown clearly that a high proportion of today's young offenders can be returned to a useful life. The wagon train trek succeeds as dramatically as conventional methods fail, and the horse has always played a prominent part in their scheme of things.
Teaming up a pretty wild, tough kid with a wild, tough Mustang, it just does amazing things. They break each other.
The World About Us, Running Wild, tomorrow at 7:45 on BBC Two. Well, now on to, we've yet more evidence of the animal kingdom's power to sway the mind of man in this week's 40 Minutes documentary, which looks at Britain's best-loved animals groomed for commercial stardom.
Come on, come on, boys. Here. Come on, here, boys. Any more? Well, at the moment, we're a little bit short of cats. We've only got about 30. But as it's near springtime, we've got 3 or 4 that are expecting kittens, so that's when our numbers go up. And then we sort of sort them out from there. Oh, this is Shirley, was on the Cat-O-Eat cat commercial with some kittens. And Emma was on the Go Cat commercial with his mother. I don't know where she is. He rushes in and skids to a halt on the commercial. That was quite a well-known one. Where are we? What else have we got here? Veronica. Puddy Purr? Where's Puddy Purr gone? Oh, he's out because he's got to do some leaping about in a minute because he's the cat that jumps for the kitty cat commercial. And then we've got Gingers. These are all stand-ins for each other, lookalikes. But Gingers and Blacks never get on together. You always have to watch them. Wimpy Holmes, that's his usual routine, sitting in the window, looking when somebody's buying a house. Oh, I thought he would, yes. That's naughty, don't do that. Naughty boy. He usually has to sit or run in the front door when they're buying a house for Wimpy Holmes. He's sort of their trademark. That's how he gets all the nice jobs, by just sitting and looking. But he just likes hanging around. Now, boys, don't get excited. Don't get excited. You've got to spend a lot of time on them. You can't force a cat, so you sort of find a way, something different. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Now, you just sit there like that, like a good boy. And all the time I'm speaking to him, you see, he's quite confident that nothing's going to happen to him yet. Now, you stop there. We don't want you to knock it off yet. There's a good boy. Oh, he decides he wants to knock it off today. There we are. Good boy. So he gets a titbit for that. Another titbit. So in cat training, it's always titbits if they're good. One more. There's a good boy. Because you've got an award for doing this.
With an Ambipure air freshener, it smells of flowers. But without Ambipure.
So therefore, you can train cats.
There are more than one SA tigers, I'm afraid. They all look much the same. They're picked because they do look alike. This one is Kipling. He's our favourite, I suppose, and more than any other tiger, he's the SA tiger. He lives in California, just south of Los Angeles, where there are ranches where they bring up, breed animals for filming. When you plan the run that the tigers are going to take. The handler, he's at the beginning of the run. There is another handler at the end of the run with a special spade with meat on it. And attached to the spade there is a buzzer. But if the distance is too far and they can't get a whiff of the meat, the buzzer is used, and they can hear the buzz, and they know that means a reward. If you imagine the film crew being tightly packed together because tigers pick off stragglers, so you're told to keep together and not kneel down because tigers go for small animals and children and all the rest of it.
It's quite nice, isn't it? Yeah.
Every time there's a new campaign, it brings a flood of letters from people who want to know more about the tiger. There is a fascination, and it's an emotional feeling that people have about all animals, I'm sure. It's as old as any advertising symbol that I can think of. It represents the kind of dynamics that perhaps we all need today. There's energy there. There's purposefulness. There's a certain arrogance in the tiger too, I think.
They're winning him home now. Being chased by Church Convoy. Eyecatchables moved into third of the Pilgarlic fourth. They're coming to the elbow. There's a furlong now between Red Rum and his third Grand National triumph. His hats off and a tremendous reception. You've never heard one like it at Liverpool. Red Rum wins the National. Coming up towards the line. A card now.
There will never be another Red Rum. I mean, it just cannot be. I mean, 5 years National, 5 times he jumps the course, 3 times he wins it, and the other time a couple of times he's second. And I suggested that for protection of the animal itself and the family that owned it, it would be as well if the horse was made a limited company. And that's what happened. We just registered the name, and it grew like Topsy.
Red Rum, you're the one. Red Rum, you live on. May your crown of glory never fall. And on each national day, we'll think of you and say, Red Rum was the greatest of them all.
Yeah, I suppose they're pretty well souvenir-type goods in the main. Jigsaws, painting by numbers, tea towels, etc., which everybody buys. And then there's the pocket money stuff for the kiddies, you know, postcards, key rings, nail clippers, pens, combs, rosettes, you know. And that's really largely within the 50p, £1.50 range. Turnover would be well into £1 million or more, and our turnover would be certainly in excess of anything he won racing. And he won, at the time, a record for a steeplechase, £147,000. And we've made profits well in excess of that. And turnover, obviously, much more.
When you see some people who are stars and they do nothing for you, or so-called stars, then others, they have this little bit of magic about them, and he does have that magic. He does like people, and he thinks he's quite entitled to all this sort of fuss and people making him special or making him different. You know, you can take him places where you should never take a horse. For all the engagements he's had, I think the only person he ever did kick was a policeman. And that was in a desperate day, pouring down with rain. The crowds had rushed in on him and sort of mobbed him. And he bowled this poor old policeman over, and the policeman said, well, I'm going to be kicked by anybody. I might as well be kicked by Red Rum. And he took it tremendously well, actually.
Ben is doing an act for Dave Allen, so he is jumping through hoops and sitting up and begging. Jason, for instance, is a black curly dog. He has to go to the top of a roof and chase some bandits. So we are setting up an obstacle course here for him today to get used to going up and through and under when he needs to do so. Come on! Fritz, the miniature dachshund, has been in 2 series of Jane, and I'm getting him ready for the next one. Stay. 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 I suppose almost any domestic animal could become a star, yes, with a lot of luck and hard work, yes. They all have to start from the beginning, of course. They need to be able to stay close, to sit and lie down and stay. That's terribly important because they always have to do a lot of staying. And from there you build up onto the other things they need to do, like carrying, holding, fetching, jumping. You can just go on ad infinitum.
Stay, good boy, stay. Very good, that's beautiful. Good boys, good boys.
Some of them are people's pets. Some of them, like Fritz the dachshund, I bought especially as a puppy to train for the series of Jane. But of course, they all get a little wage, a little salary. The owners get a great pleasure out of seeing their dogs on television. That's the biggest kick for them, I think. And if it's an owner like me, of course, I get a great sense of achievement for expanding people's ideas of just what dogs can do.
We had this phone call from the lady that deals with all the dogs for Dulux promotional work, and she asked if we'd be interested in doing some Dulux promotions. She had in fact seen Duke at Crufts that particular year, and it just coincided with the fact they were looking for some more dogs. And so that was really the start of what has now become an illustrious career. Duke is currently the official television dog. Drum is his grandson, who will in fact this year take over from Duke, because Duke has now been the official dog for 6 years.
Did you bring that baby here, Del? Because I'm just going to make her get up there because she can have this now before Tiffany eats it. Now we're in for a giggle. Here, darling. Not you, Tiffany. It's really very busy when you're bathing and grooming Duke or any of the dogs. You're talking of a minimum of 4 to 5 hours hard work on them. And that's, I mean, I've got 8 dogs. 5 of them are Old English and 1 young baby. But the big dogs are really, really hard work.
Here's a good one. Down you come. Down you come. Down. In you come. Up again. Up. Good boy. Up. 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 Come on. Up here. Good boy. Okay. Down again. There's a good boy. Down again. There's a good boy. Okay. There's a good boy. Good boy. Well, I think Duke made or cut a lot of new ground for himself as a personality dog. Whereas before, most of the Dulux dogs had only done promotions. We started to do public appearances. He's played the organ at the Royal Festival 4. He's sat in the Royal Box at the Royal Festival 4. He's billed equally alongside the human stars. The trouble is he always upstages them because he is a dog.
Up here, up. Good. Okay, turn around. Sit down. Sit. There's a good boy.
It does amaze me because, after all, his only rise to fame is that he represents a very famous company. He's not an acting dog. He doesn't do tricks. He obviously doesn't speak or anything like that. But his sheer presence in adult company creates a like as if Elizabeth Taylor or Charlton Heston was to walk into the room. He commands the same respect and the same sort of awe from these people. It comes down really, I think, to the fact that he is an animal, and all animals are loved in one way, shape or form. And maybe people see in him something which they've been missing from their lives.
Good boy. Lie down.
I don't think it really changed our lives. I think we tended to get a lot of people coming to us for help, because obviously the Old English sheepdog is one of those animals that does have a lot of hair, and therefore people do run into problems if they're not told how to groom properly. And so we did start to get a lot more people knocking on the door or ringing us up. Not a daft dog around on this one, I tell you. So when you get a dog to do this sort of thing for you, it makes grooming easy.
Roger, come on, good boy. On you get. Up. Good boy.
Good morning and welcome to Hemel Hempstead at the grand opening of the Herald Snooker Club in Grove Hill. There's a big crowd here. The opening was performed by Red Rum, the well-known racehorse. That's all happening this morning here on Chiltern.
You an invitation?
When you have Terry Wogan or Henry Cooper, you can't touch him. He doesn't belong to you. But Red Rum, we touch and we feed him Parliaments, and he belongs to us. He's their animal. He's not some supreme being to just gaze in awe at. You can go and be part of Rummy's life. And I think that's probably the secret of it.
Now the horses line up without him. For time has ended Red Rum's glorious reign. When with age his eyes and coat grow dim, still he'll dream he's winning once again. Red Rum, you're the one. Red Rum, you live on. May your crown.
You've built up a good relationship with him, since you've been working with him?
Yeah, you do, get a good relationship with him, with him every day and going away with him. Yeah.
What's
been there's a lot of...
He is that beautifully, isn't he?
Well, he never won me any money. Don't know how to bet on horses. The amazing thing about him is that no matter what the kids do, they climb on his back, they pull his tail, they do everything they possibly can to him. And he takes no notice. This is the 5th time I've used him.
Yeah, come on, Jake. That's it. You mustn't be lazy just because it's snowing. You have your daily swim. Nurse. Now then, Dee. When it's cold, you might find something rather
We
nice
got
in
Bee
there.
as a fundraiser for the Otter Trust, and after we got to a certain point, her own character became so dominant that it was obvious that we just had to go on from there. And as soon as her picture appeared in the newspapers, then the television companies started to know about it. And we got invited, which was marvellous, to make lots and lots of interviews.
Right, first of all, perhaps you better introduce us to Bee here, I think her name is. Bee is a small baby Malaysian otter. She's a pet, primarily because you're not allowed to keep English otters as pets, because primarily they're...
She's also met a lot of the royal family at various do's. She had her own special window display at Harrods. She switched on the Christmas lights at Bournemouth and at Princess Anne's house recently. She sang Happy Birthday to Mark Phillips. Usually I ask for about £25. That's my normal charge, and then travelling expenses on top of that. But quite often I'm paid in kind. I'll get £25 worth of fish. Some, for instance, people might have a trout farm, so they'll give me £25 worth of frozen trout.
Come
Quite enough. Quite enough. Oh, the poor old fridge. No, you come here. Come on. That's naughty. That's quite enough. We're going to have a nice drink of milk. Come on. That's it. Now, I'll have some tea. Because you've got to be on your best behaviour this afternoon, see? Understand? Do you want some? Do you? Come on then. Come on. Not out of the bottle. Be a lady. You're going to meet lots of ladies this afternoon. You'll be very ladylike. Come on. That's it. That's it. You make not too many dribbles. I think we've had to be just even more carefree than we were before. You don't have to bother too much about your house, for instance. You can't. If she knocks over a vase of flowers, you don't have to bother too much about that. And the kitchen, you know, the door doesn't shut in the fridge properly because she's eaten the seal round the fridge door. The washing machine leaks as well. She likes doing that. No, I'd rather you didn't take the tea bags, please. And that's hot. You don't go near there. So you help me do the pans, but that's the best thing for others to do. We do about 2 events a week. Today, I think it's a very special event for the wives of the Rotarians in Cheltenham. And I believe it's a birthday celebration. Now, Bea loves birthday parties, and it's one of her favourite things. And she'll certainly sing happy birthday when she gets there.
Come on then, sunshine. The first question they asked me when I was interviewed for the job was, do you like dogs? Which I thought was a bit peculiar, because I didn't know much about the programme. But then I realised that the dog went with the job. She's mine in the sense that she lives with me. She's chewed my shoes and peed on my carpets. Right, breakfast. I think in one sense it's a very clever idea having pets on a live programme, because it keeps people interested. You never quite know what's going to happen. But perhaps a more serious role, certainly for Goldie, is, as you might say, yes, a kind of surrogate pet. There's a lot of kids who would love to have a dog, but because they live in a high-rise flat or because of other reasons of their circumstances where they live, they can't have a pet. So I suppose every Monday and Thursday when they're having their tea, she is their pet.
And many happy returns to Britain's most famous cat. It was Jack's 9th birthday on Tuesday. That's it. And today we're celebrating in style with his cat food cake and his cards and his presents.
Pretend you're eating, Jess.
2 slices, cardboard plates. Do we have the plates?
Miss them.
Please keep the noise down the students. Just too much chat today.
One of his cards shows him doing what he just did. Here he is, sitting on his cushion, but voila, he disappears.
And we've had a lot of cartoon cards that have really made us laugh. There's one here with me saying, "Sorry, pals, your surprise plan didn't work." And there's Janet saying, "Happy birthday, Jack," as you see Jack's empty cushion. And inside it says...
Well, Petra and Jason were the first animals I was involved with Blue Peter. Petra was, I think, the most famous. We have a statue to her in our garden And she had puppies, and we kept one of the puppies called Patch. And then later, poor old Patch died when we then had Shep. And he's quite a character, as you know, and people adore him. He incidentally lives with me in the country, and he's living a happy retired life, you know. And unfortunately, Jason died when he was 12, and we then had 2 silver tabby and spotted kittens. And unfortunately, again, along the time, 2 years ago, poor old Jill died of a heart defect, but she didn't suffer, so that was nice. And we have Jack, who is full of beans, and as everybody knows, always running away.
Yes, but I bet you'll make a quick getaway. There we go.
Right again. How did you guess?
Yep. I'm sure he'll be back, though, for some cake at the end of the programme.
Along the line, we had a couple of parrots, too, but I'm afraid they died. We also had tortoise, 2 baby tortoises, and unfortunately, in bad weather a few years back, they died, and we now have a tortoise called George.
Goldie, that piece is not yours.
You nasty dog. You're not meant to do that.
Hold on.
It's the twinkling of an eye as well. I've never seen food disappear so fast.
Well, I think we can safely say it's been a successful party, can't we, Goldie?
We'll be back on Monday with the very latest Lifesaver Appeal news.
So see you on Monday. Goodbye.
See you then. Goodbye.
Good boy. There we go. Nearly there.
Hi.
Hi again.
Mate. All right.
Nice
to see you.
Looking well.
Hello, Duke, mate. How are you?
Hi, Philip. How are you?
How do you know? Hello, Sandra. Hello. How's Duke today? Is he well?
I think so, yes. He hasn't moaned on the way out, so he's obviously in for a good day.
In a good mood? Good. We've got 2 shots to do today, Philip. The one we got set out, and then we've got a snooker cover to do. So if we can sort of get down and just tidy his beard up,
okay.
We can get.
I think what we earn from Duke's activity just about covers the time and the work involved in actually doing the job we have to do. If you like, Duke is classified as a professional model, so he will get a sort of modelling type fee by the hour or whatever. But certainly over the year, he doesn't earn sufficient money to, certainly not for me to retire on, and I don't think for anybody else to retire on, but his earnings go towards the house and whatever nice things we want to put into it.
Oh, it's looking good. Well, what I want, you see, is I want Duke to go over and fill that little hole up in the studio between all the tins. But if you can Duke hold a paintbrush in his mouth?
Right, we'll get him used to the brush, I think.
Now hold. Good boy. Hold. Hold. Hold.
Okay. Again.
Good boy. Hold.
Steady. Okay. One more.
While you're doing that, Philip, I'm going to test a couple of lights to get used to the flashes.
Okay. Now, Duke, hold. Hold. Head up. Hold.
Well, the flash is making no difference to him at all.
Hold. Do you want to try some without the brush, just to get him into...
Yeah, we'll try some without the brush.
And also, can we try holding the tin, which you did before?
I'll have to cover the tin as well.
Yeah,
it's the one underneath there.
Head up. Now hold. Okay. Rest.
Oh, good, that's okay. So what we do a couple without a tin first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sitting there, just as is. And then we can shoot on.
Just get right here. Right here. Duke, yeah.
No, just land. Oh, that's looking good, Philip. It looks great. Yeah, it looks very good.
See?
Okay. That's great. That's super. That's lovely if we can get him to do that. Good. If he does that for us, I'll give him a box of choc drops to go away with.
Hold. Get up. Get up and hold. You ready when I step back?
Yes, I'm ready as soon as you step back.
Okay.
Well done, Duke. We're going to have to perhaps do it 2 or 3 times.
Yes.
Because I've got to change to black and white in a minute.
Yeah, I just think it's a little bit too setty. Do you know what I mean?
What we do is animals don't answer to words. You've got to sort of coax them and cajole them into it. And it's if they don't want to do it, they're not going to do it, and you just stay there all day, wrap up, start again the next day. That's animals.
No, wasn't his best. Wasn't his best then.
Yeah, give him a rest for a second.
Good dog, cute. Good dog, cute.
It's hard, but when you see the results, it's fabulous. It's very pleasing to see good pictures of animals.
Come on, Moisha. Now, we're looking for a cat with green eyes. Yeah. Oh, you've got blue eyes.
Yes, he's pure blue.
And he's got green.
Ah.
Looks quite nice. Hello, don't be frightened. You see, this one's okay for a lying down cat. We could probably put him somewhere where they might need a cat to lie on a chair. Let's try him first then, see if we could...
Without
hang on
this
to
one?
that one. Yeah, we'll just put this one over on the cushion and see whether he's going to be the sort of cat that's going to stay where you put him. We'll just move these cushions away. There you are. You're going to stay there. Oh, hello, you've come on to
That's
sit.
nice.
Oh, that's nice. He's settling down now. He's got his tail going up and down, so he would be more the action type of cat.
Yes.
Where these two are just a little bit nervous, but you know they would stay where you put them, which is always quite useful. So there's a possibility of filming for this one
Thank
maybe
you.
next week, as we just had a phone call for a white cat with blue eyes.
Oh, lovely.
So there we are.
So there, we've got a little job.
Well, good afternoon to all of you. Our speaker this afternoon, as you all know, is Mrs. Daphne Neville. And Mrs. Neville has devoted a great deal of her time and energy for otter conservation. And it's quite obvious from the looks on your faces that Mrs. Neville need not be here at all, really. All your eyes are on the otter. Mrs. Daphne Neville.
Madam President, ladies, thank you very much indeed. Firstly, for your sense of humour, which not only I appreciate, but certainly Bea appreciates, because, of course, as you know, otters are the most humorous of all animals, and we are very honoured to come to this, I think it's your 54th birthday, which makes you 50 years older than Bea. Do you want to do that? Yes, she would like to do the happy birthday first. Do you mind having one now? And will you help her? We sing it to the inner wheel. Yes, yes. We'll sing it all together with Bea. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear inner wheel. Happy birthday to you.
Right, what have I got here? Oh, look at that. Oh, you like that, don't you? Good boy. Oh, that's really lovely to come in like that. And even just smelling that catnip and rolling over. He's going to eat it now. Look at that. That's it. Don't go and fall off the edge. Oh, he's super. Oh, we'll definitely put him on our books. There you are, down there, a bit of catnip. Oh, you're clever. You're a star, yes. Right. Hello. Oh, he's nice. Sammy. Oh, there's Sammy, is it? Right. If you like to put him up on the bench there and take your coat off, we just leave him there for a minute. Oh, he looks quite nice. Hello there. If you like to come around this side so he can see you, and just see what he's going to do. It's quite a nice looking cat too. Yeah. Does he live in or out? I mean, does he roam about?
He goes out quite a lot in the woods, but he spends a lot of time indoors.
Could always there you are. That's a good boy. Stand up. Has he got a bad leg?
No.
Looks a bit wobbly. Ah. Did you give him a travelling tablet? Because he looks a bit drunk. Yeah. Right. No, he looks a little bit... Legs look a bit funny. Well, he's quite nice. I mean, given time, there's a possibility there. He could be quite nice. But at the moment, whether he's been knocked or whatever, he's a little bit drunk. Because he's been down your gin bottle.
Sherry.
Sherry bottle. Right. Well, it could be a good possibility, but, yeah, got a nice face. Yes, could be a possibility, but you've got to do lots more work and taking him out and about.
Yes.
Right, well, that's him for today. We can't do much because his legs are funny.
No, of course
so,
not.
But it's a possibility, Cat.
I'll give you a book, shall I? And then
He liked two paw prints too.
Yes, I'll give you one.
No, he liked two paw prints. I'm quite sure. Yes, to Roy.
Yes, thank you.
Hello. You don't mind me sending my love
I'm in the right position.
Of course. Oh, do you like her on your shoulder?
She's heavy, isn't she heavy? Sounds like it's not.
Can you go just a
Very furry. I don't know how they got the background and all the soil in there. Is that the dead one?
That's a dead one, that's a stuffed one, yeah.
Is that real?
Was?
Dead now, isn't it?
She?
Is it real?
We can now guarantee that some of these animals should last indefinitely. Chi-Chi, I mean, was seen possibly by 10, 15 million people over the years that she was in the London Zoo. And I think that people expected, when she went on show, they wanted to see the animal they recognised as Chi-Chi, and not just as a panda. It's quite an honour, I suppose, to handle stuff like this and to work on it, because it's only a one-off. You can't afford to make a mistake. We get a very good response because the press are involved when one of these animals dies, and if anybody sees at the end of the article that it's going to be presented to the Natural History Museum, then the next thing is, when's it going to go on show? Guy was another one of the famous animals at the zoo. A money spinner over the years. People used to come from all over the world to see this animal. It was very, very big, very large, very impressive. It was very evil looking sometimes. People of my generation will probably remember Mick the Miller. He won more races than I like to think about. It's a very famous dog. I think I'd like to have a go at a racehorse, something like Red Rum. That would be, I think, the ultimate challenge to get it right, because possibly more people would know more about racehorses than anything, and that would be a really, first-class challenge.
In the 60s, they were treated like TV celebrities, and we used to stay in five-star hotels with them, and they had a marvellous time. They'd have tea and bread and butter served in the bedroom. They'd even ring the bell for the lift. They became so sophisticated, it just wasn't true. And they seemed to have an instinct for what we required.
I can't hold it, Dad. Don't worry, son. I shifted more pianos than you've had up dinners.
I always remember training the chimps for that. We practiced with a real piano. And when we came to do the actual shoot, it was a dummy. And the look of disgust on the chimp's face because he didn't get any music.
Dad, do you know the piano's on my foot? You hum it, son. I'll play it.
Chimps have a very short working life, usually about 4 years. And this is one reason why this zoo was started, so that we wouldn't have to part with our chimps. Retirement for the first 6 months does come a bit hard, but we try and give them things to do, like having fun with food, and they'll still use their cups and eat quite nicely. When they hear the car, to start with, they think, "Ah, this is it, we're going out." But you just have to explain to them that they've really got too big and that's no longer on.
Dad, do you know the piano's on my foot?
The 40 Minutes documentary next week goes inside the news of the world, where sex, drugs and the Vicar are hotly pursued by the undercover reporter, hoping for a front-page splash. That's next Thursday at 9:30. Last year, a book of life-size bird paintings fetched a net spectacular sum when it was auctioned in London.
£1 million here.
It was the work of John James Audubon, and on BBC Two next Friday, David Attenborough tells the story of the celebrated artist and naturalist whose bicentenary is celebrated this year.
This is one of the grandest, the most spectacular books of modern times. It contains 435 plates, each measuring 27 inches by 40 inches, a size printers call double elephant folio. Less than 200 complete sets were printed, yet it's one of the most influential bird books ever produced. Audubon's great achievement was to combine in these magnificent plates scientific accuracy, a representation of the living, breathing bird, and the creation of dramatic design.
David Attenborough explores the world of John Audubon and his £1 million bird book next Friday at 9:25 on BBC Two. Well, now on BBC Two, it's back to the Crucible Theatre Sheffield for more World Snooker, introduced by David Vine.